Bing, bang, bong. We are live. Here we go. Philly DelValley Sports Pod, episode 6. Hot off of the PGA Championship. We're talking really hot off the press. Brooks Koepka still on TV with the Grounds crew. Shout out Kyle Masters.
Shout out Kyle.
My buddy saw him on TV as one of the guys who was blowing off greens in the middle of the tournament. Now, I don't know. I don't think I ever told you this, but I had that similar experience once when I was volunteering at a tournament. So I was
blowing off the greens.
I was working at a tournament down in Austin, Texas, and same exact thing happened. Whole bunch of leaves blew on the green. It's the Dell match play final day, Sunday morning. Matt Kuchar and whoever he was playing with was getting ready to come up on the green. They're like, "Hey, we need this thing blown off."
Here comes Collin from the DelValley Sports Pod.
I'm like, "All right, I'm in. I volunteered." I go out there. I start blowing off the green. Get a standing O walking up. The only time I will ever get a standing ovation for putting a backpack blower on. Great. It's absolutely great. But I'm just, watching live from over here on the TV. And buddy Kyle I met awesome. At the Wilmington BMW Championship. Shout out Delaware.
Shout out Delaware. Shout out Wilmington.
So
it's a city.
Yeah, it is. Small one, but it's a city.
It's a city. It counts.
So, we had a lot of sports things happen this weekend.
This weekend was filled with sports, man. We had golf. We had baseball. We had hockey. What? We had boxing.
What?
We had basketball.
What?
Too soon for basketball. Too soon to talk about that, probably. But, hey, we had it all.
Okay, so to lay the groundwork here,
no
the
pun intended.
NHL and NBA playoffs are into the conference finals. Let's see. The Golden Knights are up 2-0. Is that correct?
2-0. That's correct, Colin. As of today, a couple hours ago.
And then the Florida Panthers are up 2-0 as well.
That is also correct there, Colin. The Florida Panthers are up 2-0 on the old Carolina Canes.
Okay, well let me see if I can keep this going, because as a man who spent his entire weekend watching golf, I did not watch a whole lot of other sports. So let me take a gander at this. Denver.
Quick pause before we get to that there.
Okay.
Out of the 4 games that you just mentioned in hockey, how many do you think went into overtime?
3 of the 4.
All 4 games, Colin, including
4?
one that was the 6th longest hockey game in NHL history. It was about 12 seconds from going into a 5th overtime. But then Matthew Tkachuk from Scottsdale, Arizona, sank one, found twine, and said, "Round the chuck wagons. It's time to go home, boys."
Well, to bring this full circle, Brooks Koepka was set on record that he fell asleep on the couch watching that on Friday night, and that's why he played so well on Saturday.
So Matthew Tkachuk from Scottsdale, Arizona, playing and representing the Florida Panthers is the reason why, ipso facto, Brooks Koepka laced him up today and said, "I'm going to go win me a trophy."
Hey, everything's related in the sports world, bud.
It's all connected.
Absolutely. So going back to the NBA, Denver Nuggets are up 3-0 on the Fakers.
Oh, man. How about the one year the Joker finally doesn't win the MVP? He's kicking tail.
Yeah, that irks me a little bit.
I know. Listen, Jamal Murray, actually, Joker has been phenomenal. Don't misunderstand me. But he actually did not play very well in this last game until kind of the first quarter. Jamal Murray can't be stopped, won't be stopped, couldn't miss a shot.
Not Murray State.
Not I'm pretty sure that's our boy Doug Etter. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's stay away from that topic for now.
Pow, pow, pow,
yeah,
pow,
I'm staying away from that one. But hey, Jamal Murray, and that's kind of a feel-good story after I think he did the old Achilles a year or so ago, and this is kind of his first full
different
season.
Kind of pop.
Yeah, there you go. But once again, another full circle moment here on the DelVally Sports Pod. It's all connected, Colin. Everything's all connected.
Absolutely. And I think our Phillies played a little bit of good ball yesterday.
Oh, Clay Stott, a 2-run pitch-hit home run to take the lead. Oh,
Now,
my gosh.
To fill our fellows here listening, I get a call Saturday afternoon from one Dan Glasstetter III, aka DG3, and he calls me and he's screaming on the phone, "I hope you're in your bunker. I hope you're hunkered down because Kyle Schwarber just hit a nuclear missile into the Philly suburbs."
Before I said that, I got a very clear, yeah, I'm just driving right now. Is everything all right? Very much did not mean to scare you in that way.
I was slightly taken aback because I had just gotten off the golf course where I work with my buddy who I brought out to play for the first time. And I get this call from Dan. I'm like, okay, something important had to happen. And then he just starts screaming on the phone.
Find shelter. Did you find shelter? There's been a Schwarber bomb.
I'm like, what happened? What happened? My phone's been dead. I literally just plugged in my phone. Is there a nuclear missile happening? No, but close, because Schwarber hit a nuclear missile. Was it to left field, right field?
And to be fair, you were within radius. So
yes, close enough to where the bomb could be heard.
They're still looking for that ball.
Schwarber hit a grand salami in the first inning on Saturday against the Cubbies to set the weekend in roll.
There's nothing like it, man. A guy that's slumping with the bases juiced, and he just worked out earlier that morning. You know what I mean? And he put that baseball through a workout as he destroyed it and sent it flying into right field. There is nothing better than watching Kyle Schwarber just decimate a baseball. I mean, that guy it's a very unique home run when he hits a home run. It really is.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And
now, the only thing I will argue with you on this is you had your directions wrong. Now, Schwarber's a left-handed hitter, so he's hitting it out to right field.
Yes.
So he'd be hitting it into North Philly and the northern suburbs, aka Bucks County. Now, where I work is out there in Chester County, so that would be someone who was a right-hander hitting it way out to left field.
There was some win that day.
Regardless,
catch a gust.
Full disclosure to the people, I did not watch a whole lot of sports this weekend other than the golf. But I mean, you look at me right here. For anybody who's going to see this video, I'm wearing a golf quarter zip. I'm wearing a golf hat. Golf is my life. I play it. I work it. It is what I do. And when there's a major tournament going on, I even participate in a golf pool. I'm in a one and done. I do my own golf pool for majors. Golf's my number one. I'm not going to lie. And again, the people who know me who are listening to this, they know that already.
Yeah, and I respect that. And I think this pod presents a very interesting situation because it's going to be able to be a space where people that are golf guys and gals can embrace everything that you say and bring to the table. But then when you say and bring something to the table that I've never heard or seen before, I can go, hey, guy, let's break this thing down. So the people that are a little bit newer or unfamiliar with golf, I'm your guy because I will ask those questions that
ask away, my friend.
The dumb fool in the room does not know what's going on. So I will help on that end. And to that end, today was pretty exciting. I watched a little bit of golf today. I saw Brooks Koepka. I saw Scotty Scheffler. He looks that putt. I texted you that putt, man. That was tough over in the last shot there. The other guy, Victor Hovland, if I'm not mistaken, he had a nasty putt that tied the second place there.
Oh yeah.
That was disgusting. Some nice putts.
That putt made him a lot of money, and we're talking probably $115,000 from going to solo third, tied second.
Incredible. So much on the line. Just barely curved it. Thought it was going to do the toilet bowl spin there, but it goes in the cup. A nice putt by him.
But as much as it is awesome to watch Brooks Koepka, even though he's on the goddamn Live Tour, to see win his fifth major, this weekend belonged to one Michael Block.
Oh, now, tell me about Michael.
To those who don't know who Michael Block is, I didn't know who he was either going into this weekend. But we all know who he is now.
Yes.
Michael Block is a teaching professional. He's a PGA pro. He is not a professional golfer. He's one of those guys where you go to a country club and you see them giving lessons, or even your normal municipal. He's one of those guys. He's a regular dude just like you and I who teaches golf, just happens to be really freaking good at it.
And sorry for those people that do know him because they take lessons from him. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure if after today you can still afford those lessons.
Well, you know what's great is he has been the darling of America over this weekend. So he has been on the walk and talk multiple times throughout the weekend, which for people who don't watch golf is now they have this interactive thing where they put an ear pod in as while they're walking down the fairway, they talk to the announcers.
Oh, that's
and the
awesome.
announcers get to ask them questions, which is really cool. It's just like they do on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yes.
Where they put the ear pod in and they're talking like, and then was it Schwarber was like, well, that ball came in a lot faster than I thought it would.
Schwarber's awesome. Yeah. They really messed up last weekend, and this is a very quick tangent. They were, I think they were talking last weekend to Casas, I think is his name. He's like the first baseman for the Sox, and it was on Mother's Day.
Okay.
And they ask him, and he's fielding. Usually the guy they're talking to is taking the field, right?
Yeah.
And they freaking ask him a question that was way too deep and intense to just ask in the middle of a baseball game. I guess his mom had passed away when he was a kid. I can't remember. It's from cancer or something. What are you doing, man? What the heck? Like, what does this day mean to you? That's the question. What does this day mean to you, knowing that? Come on.
You can't. That's a violation. You
come on, some boundaries, pal. Jeez.
Seriously. But anyway, I think for golf it's perfect because they have about like 5 minutes where they're just walking down the fairway to their ball, getting ready to hit their next shot. Now, anybody who is this good at golf is already preparing for what their next shot needs to be on the 5th and 6th level of like, where am I going to hit it? Where can I miss it? This, that, the third. This guy was able to take 5 minutes out of his day on 2 days to talk to the announcers, one being SVP on Friday, I think it was,
cool.
and then with Jim Nantz and the boys yesterday. But they filled us in on a little bit of info. He only gives lessons to like 4 people who he's really good friends with because he's that good at golf. Now, he used to be a very affluent teaching pro who would make money, but he plays mini tours in the California area. So he's a good golfer. Now, he qualified for the PGA by playing in the PGA Professionals Tournament, which was won by a gentleman from the Philadelphia area named Braden Shattuck.
Shout out
Shattuck. Who
Bet you didn't think we were going to get the Philly connection with the whole golf thing.
Oh, but everything's connected, brother. Now, we can even go further on this connection. Braden Shattuck is a teacher at Rolling Green Golf Club down in Springfield, Pennsylvania, which is down in Delco. Now, one thing I learned this past week, which I didn't know, Braden Shattuck used to live with one of the guys I'm really close with in the Philly golf scene who I graduated with from Penn State when he worked at, Concord Country Club, which is right outside of Westchester. So a very close friend of mine, Nick Sikowski, lived with this Braden Shattuck.
You're saying so many words and names that are so satisfying to hear just from a phonetic standpoint. Starting with Braden Shattuck. I guarantee you everyone that's listening to this pod has at least said that out loud at least one time at this point. And then you went with the country. What was the country club name?
Concord Country Club.
Concord Country Club.
Concord Country Club.
And then you threw like a Sawinski or something at me. Wow.
Nick Sikowski.
There it is.
Along with my other buddy, Jake Lasko. They used to all be roommates because Braden was teaching at Concord while these guys were the assistant superintendents at Concord, and they all had a house on property. So Nick texted me on like Wednesday. He's like, yo, I used to live with Braden, and now we won the PGA Professionals Tournament. He's playing in the PGA Major. I'm like, well, that's fucking cool.
My guy.
So Michael Block.
I never do the dishes, but wow, that guy can golf. Amen.
Hey, if you're that good at golf, you don't need to do the dishes. And that's why my apartment's a fucking mess. Kidding. But no, seriously. So Michael Block, the only PGA pro of the 20 who made the tournament because they have to qualify through this tournament, Braden Shattuck won it. Michael Block qualified as one of the 20. Made it to the tournament. Only PGA professional to make the cut. Come Sunday, he's tied for 10th. He's playing with Rory McIlroy. And what does he do? He plays a stellar round of golf. When it comes down to 15, he dunks his shot on the par 3. Literally no bounce. Dunks it. Nothing but rim. Nothing but net. Right in the goddamn hole. People went nuts.
Unbelievable. Michael Block. Half of them watching probably didn't even know the guy's name.
I didn't even know who he was until this week. And I follow golf religiously. So Michael Block finishes at +1, tied 15th, which means next year when the PGA Championship goes to Valhalla in Kentucky, he is automatically qualified. He is already in the tournament. He does not need to play in this PGA Pros tournament. He's already in.
Start practicing now, buddy. You're in. Get to work.
Beautiful.
I heard an interview where he was saying, I didn't even know it went in. And then it felt like people were kind of reacting a lot. And I was like, cool. Like, thanks. You know, it felt like an overreaction from the crowd. Then apparently was he in the same group as Rory?
He was.
Which has got to be cool, right? I mean.
Well, there was a whole thing with him yesterday. A guy doing an interview went to him. He's like, "You're playing with Rory McIlroy tomorrow," and he's like, "No, you're
that's
kidding."
surreal, right? That's like, surreal as
he's
all
like,
get out.
He's like, "Oh, you're serious?" And then he's like, "I'm playing with possibly the most famous golfer other than Tiger Woods on the living face of the planet."
Well, and then that golfer came up and hugged him.
Yes,
and said that he had.
It went in the hole.
It went in that. Could you imagine this guy that you're totally awestruck by just coming up to you, hugging you, and then saying in your ear, "It went in the hole, pal. It went in the hole."
It's like one of the guys who's a teaching pro at the club I work with just happens to make it into the PGA Championship, and then is playing with Rory McIlroy. Not only that, on Sunday, dunks it in a par 3 for the only hole-in-one in the entire tournament. Are you kidding?
That's magic.
That's
beautiful. Storybook.
It is. It was a storybook for Michael Block. He seems like a beautiful human being. I am so happy for him and his family. Fucking props to that guy. Yeah. But moving on from golf, we had our Philly connections. Our Philly connection, the Phillies, finally got off the schneid. What was it? Was it a 6-game losing streak after Friday?
Well, they lost 3 to the Giants and then the first one of the Cubbies. So it's at least 4. I want to say it was 5 max. I don't think it was 6.
I think it was 5. Yeah.
I can't.
After Friday,
I'm blanking on the one before the Giants, the last Sunday game. But yes, I believe you. I believe it was 5.
Okay, so they went from 5-game win streak to 5-game lose streak, and now they've won 2 on the weekend against the Cubbies at home. Saturday started off with the Schwar bomb. Today was Great Stott's Day. Dan, fill me in on the weekend series with the Phillies, because again, I'm watching golf.
Yeah, and then real quick, because this has been a little bit of a theme that we've gotten onto, and I like this. We'll just call it the punchable face theme, right? We've talked about some punchable face athletes. I have a new one to introduce. I don't know if you watched any of the Giants series at all, but
it was every game other than the one that was at 4:00 was at 10:30. So not much. No,
not much. Well, you have to go back and look. The Giants have a catcher whose name is Joey Bart, and he is a punchable face kind of guy. Okay. Just a bubblegum chewing douchebag. Looks like he's a GTL guy, just punchable face. Last name rhymes with fart. It also rhymes with jackwagon. I just don't like him. He just thinks he's the best catcher in the world. And again, he didn't do anything to me, but I'm telling you, you just watch this guy catching and when he's at bat too. It's not just when he's catching. More so probably when he's at bat, because you can actually see more of his bubblegum chewing face. Punchable face guy. So you'll have to check that out. And anyone agrees with me, you'll have to let me know, but can't stand him. And Joey Bart, that also goes with it, right? Joey Bart, don't like him. He stinks.
Don't like him.
But yeah, so we just I think the theme of the Giants series is runners in scoring position. We've been hitting the ball pretty well, decently well, but we are not driving in runs, not nearly as many as we could. So we go into the Cubby series, we lose bad on Friday.
Bad.
Ranger,
bad.
go Power Ranger is getting his footing. Okay. Obviously, when he only goes 2 and a couple thirds of an inning, 3 innings, whatever it was, and doesn't do well, it is what it is, you know. And Stroman, to their credit, Stroman's having a really good year for the Cubbies, and he dealt well. Okay, whatever, it's a wash. We picked up our bags and went to work on Saturday and just came in that first inning ready to go, dude. Got the bases loaded, and against Jameson Taillon, who has a long history of stinking.
Ex-Pittsburgh Pirate.
Ex-Pittsburgh Pirate. Then he went to the Yankees, stunk there, and then he got I want to say he got traded or something, but anyways, obviously he's a Cubby now, and apparently he is not usually very good at the bank, and he was not good at the bank on Saturday. We hit the ball hard and often, did very well, and then meanwhile Aaron Nola just
cruising.
He was Smokey Robinson cruising. Okay, the guy was dealing, which is great to see. I know the Cubs are not the best hitting team, at least not currently in baseball, but still, I mean, it's good. He was really fine in the strike zone, looked really good. Yeah, everyone played well. And then today, just a big shout out to Taijuan Walker, because he went on only, I think, 3 days rest, and he came out and he pitched well. He gave them almost 100 pitches, which surprised me on 3 days rest. And he didn't let up a run. They didn't let up a run until the 9th inning when Craig Kimbrell let up a home run, which that guy just kind of stresses me out watching him pitch sometimes. And he's looked kind of good. He struck out 3 in his last inning, and he struck out the first 2 today. Then he let up a home run. Then he let up a walk, and it started to get a little bit scary, but we end up winning the game 2-1. But yeah, a pinch hit, home run. Can I stop? I mean,
everybody, A-OK. Today was an A-OK day. Woo!
Phenomenal. So it's so good to see these back-to-back games, because it's great to see a game where they just go screw it and score 10 runs and it's never close. But you also want to see those games where it's a little bit of a fight, okay? And we're going against a guy who's pitching the ball really well, and we're battling and hanging in there. That is also maybe more so encouraging to see them win games like that, to just hang in there, take some punches, and then hit a home run.
What was it, 11-4 yesterday? What was the score?
I thought it was 10-1. I think 10-1, 10-2. I'm sticking to it. 10-2. I'm sticking at 10-2.
Again, sorry, I've been nothing but golf focused this weekend. 12-3 yesterday.
12-3, just like I said, 12-3.
Yes. Okay, so looking to the week ahead. Now, I'll preface this by saying last year on Memorial Day, they lost to the Giants. The day after, Joey G got fired.
Loser.
Now, we're leading into that same part of the year. Next Monday is Memorial Day. They play every day this week. They got 3 against the D-backs at home and then 4 against the Braves on the road.
What a
4
series.
Against the Braves on the road. Their next off day is next Monday, the 29th. And then they finish out the month with 2 against the Mets, and I believe they probably have 1 more. Let me just double check this. Yes, 1 more at the Mets to start the month of June. So they got 3 against the D-backs. Not a great team.
Not an awful team. I'm going to give the D-backs some credit. Actually,
that's actually fair.
They're kind of young, upcoming team. They're playing pretty decent baseball right now.
color me surprised. They're 7 games over 500.
I've been watching them because I watch a lot of those teams that play late at night. When I come off from the late shift, they're playing pretty good baseball. They got some young talent, and they're finally piecing it together. So they're not scrubs. Obviously, they're not a top tier talent, but they're not a bunch of scrubs like they have been in recent history.
So I am sorry. I am projecting my lack of knowledge here on the MLB as a whole. Diamondbacks, decent team, not a bad team. So what do you think is Phillies record against the next week we're looking at here? 3 against the D-backs, 4 against the Braves.
I think is the Diamondback series a homestand?
Yes.
And then the Braves is
on the road.
All right. I think we can win the series against the D-backs. I think at least one of the games against the D-backs, we are going to have a comeback win against their relief. I think that is a bit of a weak spot for them, and I think that we can take advantage of their bullpen. They have at least one guy, I think, injured right now, Mantiply. I think he was one of their few all-stars last year. I think he was a late relief closer guy. So I think that we take 2 out of 3, one being an inspiring comeback win from behind. I think we split with the Braves. I'll be curious to see, with so many games in a row and no rest days, you sometimes wonder if you get a call up, a little extra pitching,
Either that or a bullpen game.
But even so, and if they do a bullpen game, I don't know. I don't think they're going to consistently stretch him out, but Hoffman,
how's our boy Jeff Hoffman doing?
Yeah, he pitched 2 innings the other day, and he, again, balled out, had a great outing. I don't even think he let up a hit. But, yeah, I think in both of his last 2 appearances, he's done the 2-inning thing. And I think his last 2 innings I believe it was the Ranger game. So they really needed the innings in that particular game. But I don't think that they are stretching him out, but maybe it's funny because we've seen him in the 8th inning, right? Where he just clearly is in a 1-inning role, but we've also seen him now back-to-back appearances do the 2-inning ordeal. And as we talked about in the previous spot, he does have like a lot of experience as a starting pitcher, all that to say that he can throw more than 20, 30 pitches per se. So he's not unfamiliar to it. Obviously, he's not stretched out completely, but.
And how's Alvarado making out on his recovery? Any idea?
I didn't hear any updates today. I just heard the update I shared on the last pod that things are looking up and pretty good. But obviously, he hasn't pitched yet. He's not back yet. But last I heard was positive. So hopefully he's back this week.
All right, cool. Well, Dan, I don't know about you, but it's been a long weekend of work. So I think we touched on all the topics we needed to. We'll put a wrap on this episode. We'll keep it nice and short and sweet for the people. Appreciate you, everybody who's listening. Now, Dan, if you got any words for the people, I know you always do.
I do have some words, but we would be reminisce. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for.
Remiss.
We would be. Sorry, I ran a reminiscence group earlier today at work, and I think that's what called me there. We'd be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to the late, great Jim Brown. And I wanted to share, obviously, he is well known as being a Cleveland Brown running back, Jim Brown. And he's known as being one of the greatest running backs of all time. There is a stat, and you think you might know it.
I think I do.
And I'm trying to phrase this in a way that is well put. He has a stat in regards to rushing, the general category of rushing. He has a stat that no other running back has. He is in a category of 1 for a particular stat thing that he accomplished over his career as a running back. Do you think you know what it is?
Yeah, and I'm going to preface this by saying I think it's one of those Wilt Chamberlain stats that's never going to be broken.
Nice.
He's the only running back to ever average 100 yards per game for his entire career.
Absolutely nails it! Collin coming in crushing the Jim Brown. Shout out to Jim Brown. A stat that may never, ever be broken.
That number will never be broken.
Never be broken. What a
Never.
Beautiful pull by Collin there. Give him a credit.
Hey, I know my sports. I wouldn't have done a sports pod with you if I didn't know my sports.
I didn't know you were such a historian on the Cleveland Browns and Jim Brown. Shout out to Jim Brown. What an illustrious career. And I know there's so much more to be said than just his football career. But just wanted to get that out there. Shout out. One
of the best to ever do it. Now,
right.
Dan, would you like to give a word of advice to the people for the week?
Yeah, quick. As we walk into this new week, the Phillies are getting hot. We had a lot of fun with a lot of sports, and those hockey series will continue. Keep an eye on it. Be ready to stay up all night long, of course, to watch overtime. But just remember one thing. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow, a mystery. And today, a gift. That's why they call it the present, Collin.
Oh, man, I love that. I got goosebumps.
Y'all have a good week.
And I'll sign off on this. Michael Block taught me something this weekend. You never know when your time is going to shine, but you better be goddamn ready when it is.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hey, be good. Be good at it, and also be kind.
There you go.
And we'll talk to you on the other side.
All right.
Hey,
have
DG,
a lovely week. Great talking with you, pal.
Absolutely. Let's go, Phils.
Go,
We'll talk soon. Yes, sir. Thank you to everybody for listening. We'll talk soon.